Hajime Mashita, folks. Thanks for coming back. It has been a little bit difficult to focus on the work that I have in hand and this new edition, or the bunny we rescued. I think we're gonna have to call it the rescue bunny, because I don't think we can, unfortunately, keep it. It needs a very, very big, large garden or a farm, which we do not have. I did make a harness for the bunny, so at least the bunny can go out for a walk with us in the meantime while we find it a new home. I do wish we could have kept him, but he chews wood. He chewed my iPad. At least it was covered, but you can see he is going through literally everything. And he went through my books. I don't know, like everything is being destroyed in our place and we just don't have a spot. This was Dior's older jacket, and because there's padding on the neck, and it's actually relatively soft. This is shearling, leftover recycled like leather. This actually fits him well. So it tightens solid enough. It's not the best, it's not made perfectly like I usually do with Dior's, but in this situation, I think this works for him. I'll show you the pictures that we have of him wearing it. And so far it looks like it worked very well. So it's been a little bit of an interesting experience. I think today I'm just overwhelmed with too many things, so I'm gonna just sit and knit. Not show, but the what not shows, is there a point of doing them if financially there's nobody really coming in and purchasing? I have more sales on Poshmark, my normal place as a Posh ambassador, because I've been doing it for many, many years now, officially. So this is plain stitch, just showing you that I think today is a de-stressor. Usually we called him Dolce, but usually he would be out within this space over here. But I want to do this video first to just kind of let people know that I haven't forgotten. I'm just going to do a row. This is called a row, what I'm doing right now. And I just feel I just cannot function without having to stress out about the bunny. He's so sweet, but I don't think he realizes he's doing it. I do understand it's a rabbit's habit to chew everything, but sometimes chewing everything can also be disruptive with a normal person's lifestyle. So I don't have a family here per se. I mean, I'm literally doing everything on my own. Brandon's here, like he works full time, like all the time. Like he only has one day off. So it gets a little bit, so in the end, I'm the one that's cleaning up the house, and I'm the one that's trying to figure out how to generate the income for myself, which is what I've done already. I mean, I had other jobs, but I am working on my own right now, and sometimes I realize how you have to be really into and extremely dedicated to regular and consistency when it comes down to working by yourself, because without your regular consistency, like I haven't been able to do I haven't been able to do YouTube as frequently because, obviously Facebook has taken over my entire process. Every single day I need to be on there in order to generate income. And mind you, it's not a lot of money. I mean, we're talking like if I had maybe 10,000 followers, then yeah, sure, the money would generate and come in consistently. But at the moment, I'm busy growing my following over there. Just like I'm trying to organize my following on this side. It's not easy. It's not, people think, and don't forget, followings mean people. People are numbers, and I don't like to think people are just numbers. They're real people. So following means, how many people you've gathered. So And you have to gear towards what people are interested in. Now, as I said, I do fashion and music, and I'm not in denial that I do both, because that's what I've done. I've had exhibitions. I've worked on fashion shows before. That's not like a thing. So for me, that's never an issue. And I've done music and performances, but at the moment I'm not performing with like groups of people. I'm doing it on my own. So it's a very different kind of genre, right? And we are in like the seasonal change. So obviously knits and sweaters, if you want to talk about fashion, and long sleeve jackets and all those things are now in. It's getting cold in the States. It's getting cold. I can feel the weather and the temperature changing. We have things going on in the world that are just, traumatic. And I think I mentioned what would happen. What would you do if you didn't have any electricity? How would you survive? How would you make an impact or save or create jobs, job creation, right? What would you do to help people create jobs? Say you were, for instance, overseas in a rural location. Would you survive? What if you were there for a job and you were supposed to help facilitate stuff? These are all the things that I always think about. That's why I do the fashion and music, and it's not an issue. I don't think it's a problem having multiple skills, because for me, I just thought it was perfectly normal, because I've done exhibitions where I've used all skills to incorporate in my life. I just don't see it as look, I'm knitting today. I don't see it as a separate entity. And if you're going to save an animal's life, people don't realize how important it is to actually make harnesses, especially in, like, this is an urban area. I'm living in an area where there are a lot of cars, and there is a garden, but it's not like a garden where you have other garden, like farm area. It's not the same thing. And I remember having rabbits as kids. It was just, but we had much larger spaces, and we had houses and all that stuff, and it's just different. And South Africa is different than the United States, and I'm living in the States, and everything in my situation is smaller. Like, we don't have like a ton of space. The whole point of me doing the YouTube channel is to open that door up and have that discussion on whether or not people understand that there is a connection between the fashion and the music. The construction of clothing, is just as important as listening to music, and the construction of music for music videos and people's entertainment and all that stuff. But there is a practical side to things. And for me, I feel as if sometimes in order to generate, like, I use Poshmark. Poshmark is great. Let's talk about Poshmark, for instance. Poshmark and all the other platforms are good because we talk about recycling and reusing other people's materials or garments that they probably have up in their closets. So I'm like, it's still being recycled. Recycling is the key. There are landmines in all over the world where you find like a ton of clothing that's just piled up and thrown away and tossed because there's no space. And sometimes clothing is not biodegradable. It depends on the materials and fibers that have created the item. So recycling is definitely a better, resourceful way to save areas, locations, not to have landmines as often as they do, all that stuff. So I do feel the need to discuss the fashion sometimes too. I cannot function at the moment on the music because my mind is focused on trying to get this poor little creature to safety. We saved it. Now we need to find it a proper home that will allow it to move around as often as it wants to. A rabbit is it's like a horse. It's like a mini horse. It's like a mini horse, and horses need to have land. And I used to be a horse rider, and I used to ride horses, and I used to clean the stables, and I would wash the horses too. So every time we would ride a horse, we were supposed to, our responsibility, and I think it was a good responsibility growing up, was to clean, wash the horses after they were sweating, and to clean the saddles, to make sure that the next person that used the saddles wouldn't have to worry about other person's sweat, or, you know, cleaning the stables, just to show responsibility that you're caring for the animal. Same thing applies for a rabbit, same thing applies for a cat, same thing applies for a dog. So you really need to understand each individual animal's needs, and I do know from what I've experienced the past couple of days that rabbits definitely are mini horses, and they must have like lots of space to move around in. We can't do it here. I mean, I can put it on a leash, you know, and make sure it's secure and so it doesn't run away. But at the same time, you know, you feel the responsibility that a sweet little animal like a rabbit needs. It doesn't need to be, it's in the bathroom at the moment. It's been in the bathroom for a few hours. I'm eventually going to have to let him out today. It is just, it's heart-wrenching to know that he's also chewing up cables. So just imagine if I were to do music and the rabbit was running around, and all of a sudden he's chewing through a cable for my music equipment. There goes everything. Then I have to buy the parts and then redo it. I mean, it's just impractical. It's impractical because my initial thought was just to save the animal. It was not, I thought about, you know, like having it, but until I realized that this poor little creature, and I've bought it all sorts of snacks and chewies and all that stuff. It doesn't want those. It's eating some of it, but it wants our furniture. So clearly this is a problem. We got a rabbit that really wants to eat the furniture. And this is not an uncommon thing. This apparently happens to be what rabbits are known for. So if you are ever going to own a rabbit, reconsider or think about the situation that you're in and what you're going to do about it. Okay, I'm going to continue knitting. So the knitting helps me de-stress. It's also helping me finish working on a possible new outfit, which I must do. I swore I was going to finish working on it, but I haven't completed yet. I did one last year of the same material. I have so much of this cotton that I feel as if this cotton needs to be used. I don't want to waste it. And once again, the whole question of recycling, reusing, I try to make sure that I don't waste things. I don't waste things. So yeah. And I think because he chewed I think once we settle into finding the right person to take him as a pet, I will be less stressed and I will be back to functioning order where I know my plan of the day or the week or the month. And at the moment, my plan has gone right out the window. It's like having a 2-year-old for the rest of your life. Rabbits don't get up to like 10 years old. They can't do things for themselves. They can chew. And their way to express anger is to chew or to kick. Like a horse. Horses chew and kick. It's exactly the same. And they're both vegetarians, right? They eat grain. And yeah, that's what it is. Got to trim their nails, of course, which is what I did. I trimmed nails. So there's not really much I can do besides trying to de-stress, trying to explain to everybody. Terribly sorry that I really haven't focused on the music, but you can see that this is a bit of a problem. I am, first it was like overstressed, and now it's like overstressed plus an extra responsibility that I can't manage as much. And I want to do my YouTube, and I want to make sure that you guys are enjoying my discussions, but at the same time, I'm also dealing with all these other anxiety issues with what am I going to do with the rabbit every day, and how long will the rabbit be out of the bathroom for till it starts chewing up my stuff or Brandon's stuff. I mean, it's quite serious. I even had to close the door because the music equipment's there. It's not, the basket's one thing, but once you start chewing up cables, that's a whole different subject. That's like destroying your entire life, right? So I'm not going to put myself in that situation and then get mad at the and then get upset because the bunny is like chewing, which is a normal part of its like lifestyle, right? So even though I care and, you know, worry about this rabbit, the rabbit is not, and it's not a wild rabbit. There's no way it's a wild rabbit. It's definitely a miniature Rex, and it was bred to be somebody's pet because it would not be, and it's actually very clean. I mean, it looked like, the bunny looked like, he is definitely chewing things, and they don't like to be picked up. You can see they're not the type of animals, if you guys are ever going to think of a bunny, they're not the type of animals to just pick up like a cat or a dog, but rather they like to be on the ground and petted. So it's a different type of animal, and luckily I understand animals, and he wasn't too afraid, so I was able to pick him up. But I'm just showing you that it's just these teeth are very, very sharp, and they bite through everything. So even though he is absolutely adorable, I'm afraid, buddy, I cannot keep you because you're just not, our place is too small. You really do need the right person, hey? If you are in the Maryland area and you're looking for a bunny and you have the space, let me know. I'm looking for a good home for him. I want to make sure that the person is the right fit. He will come with his harness because I made that for him specifically. Ears are clean. He looks pretty healthy to me. I didn't see any fleas on him, which was a good thing. He is shedding, which is normal. Okay, so I'm gonna put him back now. Here's a close-up of him. See, I am looking for a good home for it. I do feel as if it needs to be the right person. It would be me if only we had a bigger space, and our space is just not big enough for this beautiful creature to run around on a regular basis. And he's just, yeah, he starts chewing cables, then we're in a lot of trouble. He has started. He did start chewing at my book, which was an absolute no-no because, you know, paper. And we have like lots of things. He has so many things now. It's like he's spoiled to not have. He has plenty of things to chew on. It's just not, I can't function like this. And that just means I cannot get things done, meaning I cannot progress in my regular lifestyle as an independent, self-employed person, or as you want to call it, like semi-freelancer, sort of, kind of. And it's just a pity to see people. This is another thing that I just don't understand, is why people would buy an animal and then throw it out as if it was nothing. It feels as if people buy, you know, this is something to consider. If you're going to get an animal, make sure you have the right information. Make sure you have understanding of the animal type. Make sure you are confident that you're capable of taking care of it. Make sure that you know the cost of how to take care of the particular animal that you're interested in monthly or weekly. Know it's what it's able to do. Know what it's not able to do. You know, it's just sad that people are throwing beautiful creatures out and expecting them to survive on their own, even if it's not an animal that's supposed to survive on its own. It's just not like that, you know? And as a good Samaritan and somebody who loves animals, of course I'm going to save the animal from starvation, or being outside in the cold, or dealing with wolves or foxes or bears or hawks from the sky. Hawks can see something miles away from the sky and come down, and this white rabbit would definitely not make it. So I just want to, you know, keep people aware that it's not that I'm not trying to be constructive. It's, for me, I'm trying very hard to make it work in the meantime, and I don't think it's working too well, because I would then have to give up, I would have to then give up everything I do, from Facebook to my fashion and Poshmark sales and YouTube and all the other things that I am busy currently working on, just to take care of a rabbit that was thrown away. Now, I don't know why people would do that. I just don't understand why you can't find a better solution than to toss it out your window. It's really horrific. I don't understand why they would do that, why people think that it's okay. It's just appalling. I'm appalled personally. So that was my chat today. Once I know more about what we're going to do about the situation, I will definitely be back on the music. I will be back to update you on a couple of different things, but let me just try to figure out what I should be doing here. That's where I am right now. It's a little bit complicated to do everything at once when I'm doing everything on my own already, and then one more addition. Like, it's not a child. A child grows up and it gets older, and it becomes like you learn responsibilities as you grow up. Rabbits don't have that capability. They don't. It's not, they're going to be babies, literally babies forever. Cats' mentality grows up to like maybe teenage mindset. They're like, they know how to be independent. They know when they need something. They talk to you. Rabbits don't talk. They talk in a different way. They talk with their teeth. So once again, arigatou gozaimashita. Matashi sayonara. Janai bye bye. And I will be back later.